You're in a game in which your side had the better chances. How do you reflect on a point?
Yeah, I think the performance was a step forward from last week, as you would expect it to be in all aspects, just from the fact that, of course, it's the second game back at home and some players with their first game out of the way and under the belt. So there was plenty of good aspects about the performance, really good start. Had the better of the play on most phases, really, on and off the ball, and had the better chances. We weren't quite able to find enough to really say that we absolutely dominated the game in any spell or really should have won it. We were certainly the team who looked more likely to win it, but yeah, we just need to take the steps forward now in every aspect. To be a better team, to be more dominant in that game, or to find a way to win it, and that's an awful lot of different areas, but it's good feedback for us. The first game last week was good feedback for us, and we have to use that feedback to get stronger, and we need to do all the right things as a club and off the pitch to make the group as strong as we possibly can. But I think in general it was frustrating not to get the win, but in some aspects a step forward.
I guess supporters will be debating how full their glass is. 2 points from 6. Still no home win this calendar year, but unbeaten against two sides that are probably going to be up there. How are you feeling about it?
I think, look, one thing I have spoke to the group about, we can't allow the narrative to build on the home record from last year. It's a new group. The second half of last season, we're competing in the toughest league in the world amongst a real big injury crisis for most of those games. So this group is a new group. There's very few of those players who played the majority of those games probably. So we can't allow as a club that narrative to build around us. It's a new season. It's a new start for so many of the players, the different divisions. So it's our first home game and against one of the better teams probably in the league, certainly personnel-wise. We delivered a pretty good performance, had the better chances. We're disappointed we didn't get the winner, but for the stage of the season we're at, for all the challenges we're having at the moment, it's not a bad day's work. We know we need to improve in every aspect, but as long as the performances go in a positive direction, as long as we show the right qualities, we always have believed that the results will come after that. And it's 2 tough games in really difficult circumstances. We've not been beaten. We want to pick up our first 3 points as soon as possible, but the only way to do that is just focusing on day to day what's ahead of you, focus on the next game and do enough of the right things to do it. So that'll be the next challenge this week.
You talked about still building the squad. We spoke about even as on in the press conference. Any progress update on that?
No, I think the deal hasn't progressed, so I won't say anything other than that, really, out of respect to all parties. So he's not a player that we expect to join the club in this window.
Okay. I'm not able to say anything more on that at this moment. And a link last night from Norway, talking about a bid for Sindre Walla Egeli, £17 million from the Norwegian club Nords Jarland.
I think you can put that together and say Nordjylland. I think all in one go. Nords Jarland. I might be wrong. Maybe it is Nords Jarland. Get a Danish guy in here to answer. No, it's Danish club.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, Norwegian player at a Danish club. Someone else want to try that one? Nothing to answer on it, honestly. He's a player not from our club. Of course, that's a position that we've just sold a really good player. So we're going to be linked to lots of players in that area. It's an area that we want to strengthen. So there'll be different links, but hopefully we'll bring in the right player as soon as possible.
Well, last year's division, you had a very settled team. You knew where everyone was. You knew what your team was. How difficult is it now with players coming and going, and you've got two key players from that promotion team this week, and players coming in and not without the speed to start? I wish you can't wait to the end of
Hopefully, but only if we are in the right position by the end of the month. And it's a completely different challenge, it really is. It's a different challenge, a big challenge for us, of course. Yeah, we came up the last time with an incredibly settled group, and the starting team from our promotion from League One was probably thereabouts the starting team for the first half of the Championship season, and this year is completely different. I don't know how many, but maybe from when we played Southampton here in January, I'm sure one of the guys will pull the answer up, but there's maybe 3 players or something like that who would have played in that game. So that's a big turnover, and we have a lot of work to do getting the group together. But it's no sob story. That's the reality. That's the journey we've been on. We've climbed really quick. Now we've dropped down a division, and we have to bring this group together. we have to get through this current period of a little bit more turbulence and lots of changes going on with the group. Make sure that the group's as strong as it can be by the end of the window, with everyone with a real clear focus to achieve what the club wants to achieve this year, and press on from there. But in the meantime, we have to keep trying to improve the performances, deliver performances, and try and get points. So yeah, it's a completely different side of the coin experience with both. And yeah, there's, of course, positives to the position we're in before. There's positives, to the position we're in now, probably in terms of on a balance sheet, we've probably got some really strong options for the division. But it's a different challenge, and one that we're trying to take on.
I guess with Tube Rackcom, is he likely to be?
Hopefully soon. He trained separately at the early part of the week, but he had some muscle tightness and soreness after we tried to get him up to speed, so we've had to slow it down a little bit, but hopefully not too much longer. But again, it would be really important to have him with a group as soon as possible. We're shorter in the midfield and forward positions than we want to be, not just in terms of numbers, but also just the readiness of those players getting up to full speed and full fitness. So hopefully he'll get some more training under his belt this week and be available for a minute soon.
I gather Lee just downstairs has said he's committed to Town, and which obviously must feel like a big positive for you, given I think it's been a bit of interest in him.
Yeah, I've had those conversations with Leaf anyway, so I know exactly where his mindset is, that he wants to stay. He feels like it's going to be an important year for him to keep developing, improving, take the lessons that he's learned over the last few years and consolidate them and have a big season for himself and really help the club. So that's a big positive, and we've got to keep working with him now to help him get better and better.
No Ali today?
No, Ali's picked up an injury in training on Thursday, so wasn't available. So obviously leaves us really short in that area. Not very short term, no. Hopefully not long term either. But he's picked up an injury in the first session back after doing the 90 minutes against Bromley in the Cup, and it's probably going to be a few weeks.
What is it?
A calf.
You've played Southampton 3 times here in the last sort of 15 or 16 months. Each time had a new manager. Can I just ask a little bit about what the opposition gave you today and how you sort of prepared in difference to, I suppose, Ivan Juric and Russell Mine?
Yeah, look, we, of course, fairly confident that it would be a back five after they'd done that in the first few games. The style's really fairly different. I think all Southampton fans would probably say from, with Russell, but we know they've got a good manager now, lots of good players, good squad. We prepared the game as well as we can. There wasn't too many surprises in there. We know the quality that they have, and they were a difficult opponent.
One on Leaf. I mean,
Yeah.
how refreshing is it to have someone like Leaf who's prepared to step down into the championship? Because a lot of players like that, they do usually get turned.
Yeah, it's a big positive, no doubt about it. Look, every situation is different, and you don't want to pigeonhole players together. Every situation is different. In Leaf's case, he's had an incredible climb really from when he arrived here first in League One. He hadn't really hardly played a senior game, and then he went League One, Championship, Premier League, and that's a really quick ascent. And he did some fantastic things last year. But like everyone, there was some lessons to learn, and he's got a real affinity for the club. Knows how important he is here, and he wants to help the team this year. And he also knows that for him to just keep accumulating the games, keep starting, playing matches, and keep developing as a player. Although he's not very, very, very young in years, he's still young in his career, really. So he feels that he's still improving here, and he can help us, and we feel the same. So happy to have him.